Welcome to episode 3 of Weekend Wrap Up. I'm your host, Aman, and in this episode, I talk about Naomi Osaka and Novak Djokovic winning the Australian Open, the Minnesota Timberwolves firing Ryan Saunders, the NBA honestly needing to have better referees, and then Cam Newton and the heckler at his camp. And really quickly, I just want to say Cam Newton was at a place sponsoring high schools so we could put these kids on the map, and that kid was heckling. And honestly, I don't know why he did that, but anyways, if we have time, we'll talk about it. If not, then we won't talk about it. But Naomi Osaka and Novak Djokovic winning the Australian Open, I feel like it was easier for Djokovic to win it in his respective category just because that Rafael Nadal shockingly lost, and we would have been getting a Novak Djokovic versus Rafael Nadal. It's always amazing to witness a tennis match when you see like Federer, Djokovic, and things like that, or Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, like things like that. So it was easier for Djokovic because we all expected to see Nadal versus Djokovic or something of that magnitude, and we didn't. Djokovic ran away with it. And Naomi Osaka winning the Australian Open in her category, and her path to winning was Serena Williams in the beating Serena Williams in the semifinal, and then beating Jennifer Brady of the United States. But beating Serena Williams, that was clearly the best in straight sets. Won both sets they played. Incredible. And it was just simply easier for her to win it because Serena Williams wasn't in the finals, but she still had to go through Serena Williams. So props to her for actually doing that. Timberwolves firing Ryan Saunders. This came after their loss to the Pelicans. Not Pelicans, the Knicks. Sorry for the slip up there. They lost by 4 points. Anthony Edwards did make a costly mistake, but Timberwolves really need to figure it out because Anthony Edwards honestly was looking like a draft bust, but now he's looking like the player that they knew they were getting at the first pick. But no matter how much young talent they're drafting, it's just Carl Anthony Towns on that team just suffering. And granted, D'Angelo Russell is injured. He's honestly injury prone at this point. He's a good guard. Like he was an all-star a couple of years ago, but he's been injured in and out of games this season, last season, so many seasons, honestly. And you honestly don't know where this Timberwolves team will go. And if you guys haven't forgotten, they traded Andrew Wiggins to the Warriors. It might have been better off with Wiggins as I'm thinking about it because now look at Wiggins. You put him into a Steve Kerr system. Wiggins' defense is better, way better. Like if you look at defensive efficiency or something like that, the first non-center is Andrew Wiggins, and he needed to be more consistent, and he's been more consistent. So the Warriors clearly making Andrew Wiggins better, but he was just not it in Minnesota, mainly because of the culture he was around. Minnesota hasn't won, hasn't been a good team ever since Kevin Love left. And on the D'Lo side of things, he got traded to Minnesota, and their pick is going to be with Golden State if they fall out of the top 3 in the draft lottery. And it wasn't a guarantee they were going to suck this bad, but I kind of knew it. And if it isn't in the top 3, their next year's first round pick is unprotected. So imagine this Warriors with Klay Thompson, maybe the 4th or 5th pick if they fall out of the top 3. And if not, the year after that is unprotected Timberwolves pick, and they could suck, and the Timberwolves are the worst team in the league. And made sense for Ryan Saunders to be fired. I honestly don't know why he was coaching that long. Really didn't do anything whatsoever for that team. But things don't work out, it's fine. The Minnesota will move on, but you need to start winning before Carl Anthony Towns requests a trade. Jimmy Butler was there. They got into the playoffs. Great first round exit against the Rockets. But Carl Anthony Towns, man, if he's disgruntled, request a trade. Request it. Leave Minnesota. Go to a better and a winning culture. Because how long are you gonna stand this system? Like I get it, your best buddy D'Angelo Russell came, but how long are you gonna keep suffering in Minnesota? Is my question. So he definitely needs to request a trade or trust the process in Minnesota. I know that's Philadelphia's thing, but Minnesota needs to get better for Carl Anthony Towns to stay. And my prediction is in the next 2 to 3 seasons, we will see Carl Anthony Towns' departure from Minnesota. He is a superstar talent. And now NBA needing to have better referees. I'm honestly not saying this because I'm a Warriors fan, but when you look at it, Warriors Hornets, I don't think it's an argument that that was a clear jump ball at the end, which ultimately led to a technical foul and then a Terry Rozier game winner. But other than that, like other games, they need to like actually look at floppers and see James Harden. That was by any means that was not a charging foul by Kawhi Leonard. Yes, he kind of extended the elbow a little bit, but Harden started flopping way before the elbow came out and then just sold it at the end. And there's just been the Pelicans game against the Celtics. The last two plays were just obvious calls and had to go to replay. And it was so obvious. Just call the right calls and why offensive foul, not even an offensive foul. James Harden is known to flop, and this is another instance. And the rules need to be harder. I know there's a rule that if you flop and it's a really obvious and hard flop, then you get fined. They need to crack down on flopping more because if you look at earlier, well, not even earlier days of basketball, like 15, 20 years ago, when Michael Jordan was there, like in the 90s, you could touch up players. Granted, there were still fouls. I know there were still fouls called, but there was no flopping. It came from college basketball, and then the college basketball players started flopping in the NBA, and then it became like a cupcake league, and it needs to stop. And so now we will talk about Cam Newton as the heckler at camp. And today the heckler did apologize to Cam Newton. I think I don't think he realized he was wrong yet. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't think he regrets saying that just because his parents told him to. And yeah, you should apologize, but I'm not really sure he meant it. Even though his parents said like don't disrespect anyone, you should never disrespect anyone. First of all, you don't even need your parents to tell you that in order not to disrespect anyone. But that heckler was just completely wrong for doing that to Cam Newton. He is helping you in your football career, and you're trash talking this man. Like respect your elders at this point. Cam Newton is a very accomplished man. Even if you are not renowned around the league, you're still more accomplished than these people because these people might not even make it to the NFL, and you're trash talking guy just because he is falling out of his prime. To be honest with you, Cam Newton's falling out of his prime, and he's a free agent. I guarantee you he's going to go to a team, and he's accomplished. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's won an MVP in the middle of Drew Brees' prime, Aaron Rodgers' prime, and Tom Brady's prime. Those are amazing quarterbacks, and Cam Newton won the MVP that year. So I don't know what Cam needs to do, maybe just win a Super Bowl, but it was just flat out disrespectful. I bet the kid feels ashamed of himself because he has to. Otherwise, this is classless, honestly. That's my feelings on it. The kid, by the looks of it, regrets it. I don't think he really did because his parents just told him to. I guarantee you, if his parents didn't tell him to, or Cam didn't want to go to his parents, he would not apologize to Cam Newton. That was honestly immature. But anyways, with that, tune in on Friday for the regular podcast program, episode 8 of Everything Sports with Aman, or tune in next Monday of episode 4 of Weekend Wrap Up.